Good morning, Mr. Jeff here with AKLA Martial Arts in Hudson, Massachusetts. Check us out on karate4free.com. That's karate4free.com. Today, we're going to be going over our general curriculum that we've been going over for the past couple of weeks, but we're going to focus on some areas. The first one is awareness. I'm being aware of my surroundings all around me. If I can't see, I'm going to use my ears, and if anything gets within range, I know I can feel that there's something there, whether it's too late for me to respond or I get bumped when I'm not seeing it coming. That's kind of another idea of awareness, is we call them triggers. Right? I'm also going to be paying attention to being intentful with my movement, like we've been talking about for the past couple of days. So I'm going to move with a purpose into a specific position. And the positions that we will look at today is the natural, the neutral, and then putting them together. So we're basically going to be transitioning from natural to neutral in 4 different ways. The first way is, well, first of all, let me back up for a second here. You notice I have my box on the floor again. So I'm boxing myself in, that way I can understand the direction that I'm moving. Now I'm going to measure my movement and record it, so to speak. So right in front of me, that's 12 o'clock. Now you can see this would be 6 o'clock, this would be 9 o'clock, this would be 3 o'clock, and it would be different for you if you were in your own box or clock. In this case, I have the corners boxed off because I want you to pay attention to those. So starting in my natural stance, I'm just going to step my left foot back towards the back corner. Okay. Now, when I start off, I'm just going to stay inside the box, and it's going to be in the corner behind my heel. Then I'm going to step back with my right foot. I might even look so I can see. Then I'm going to step forward with my left foot. Then I'm going to step forward with my right foot. So you choose whichever one you want to do first. Now as you do it, tell yourself, back corner, 7, front corner, 10, front corner, 1, back corner, 4. Now you're saying that, and you could say it out loud, or you can say it in your head. You're just teaching yourself where you're stepping. So that way, as you do it, you're aware, I'm moving forward. And then you can get even further into the details and go, okay, and this is a meditative process, right? You're paying attention to one step at a time with a purpose. Left foot, 10. Right foot, 1. Left foot, 7. Right foot, 4. Okay? Now this is a small box because as I'm doing this, I also want to start seeing, depending on where I am in the box, is going to determine how I get to where that is. Sometimes I might go by it. Sometimes I might bump right into it and move it. Other times I'll go by it this way. Okay? So sometimes we'll just pay attention to that item as we're moving back. And we might turn, or I might step here and then turn. Or sometimes I might step here and turn. I might step here and turn. These are different maneuvers that we can do from these positions. So once you get those 4 basic ones down, I want you to add the hands. This time, when I step forward with my left, I'm going to go 1 and 2, just like that. Then I'm going to step forward with my right, 1 and 2. Then I'm going to step back with my left, and I'm going to go 1 and 2. Then I'm going to step back with my right, and I'm going to go 1 and 2. Let's try that out. I'm just going to do it, and you can do it along with me. Just being relaxed. Just putting the hands into position. Okay, now if you widen the circle a bit, or the square a bit, now you're not in range to step around the item, but just towards it. So I'm directly in the middle here, I know, boom, there it is. That's how we talked about when it's behind my heel. But if I'm already close and I do that, then I'd be going through it. So that can show you how I step and I can see it now. Because then, in that case, I can turn. Who knows, right? We build off of all of these. But, try it this way now. I step back with my left and I do it down low. 1 and 2. And I step back with my right and I go 1 and 2. Try that a few times. 1 and 2. Don't worry if you hit anything. It's just there to get an idea in front of your field of vision so you can visually learn it as you're burning it into your muscle memory. Now this can be done in a smooth fashion, and I can tense up by the time I get to position if I want to, and I can also pick up the pace on that. Don't worry if you move them, it just shows you the power of the stance, even though that's a little item. Play with those. This can become a flowing positional drill. Now you determine how you want to do it. Come in there with intent, like I said. The intent today is to just feel the 4 positions. So I step 1 and 2, and I might even get a forward bow in there if I can see it and get the hip into it. Now I'm starting to experience a variation, and then I can come back if I need to. Same here. And then when I do these ones, or I do this one, or this one, maybe I do this one. And I work technique motion now. Look, I end up in that position. Okay. You could even, when you get into it, eventually start moving in this way. Okay. And notice what you can see when I do that. Because then, if you have other motion in your muscle memory, you know that I can just move this way, right? So it all starts with stepping back, going 1, 2, stepping back, going 1, 2, stepping forward, going 1, 2, stepping forward, going 1, 2, maybe stepping back, going 1, 2, or 1, 2, maybe stepping back, going 1, 2, who knows? But the more motion you have, the more you'll be able to add to your spontaneous movement. Now, spontaneous is also a deliberate choice when you make it that way. So I want to move spontaneously, that's my intent, okay? Now do it with things that you've practiced. So don't do anything that you've never tried before, in other words, at first. So I have all of those. Now all of a sudden my leg goes, and then whichever one happens, happens. Okay? Oh, now my leg's going this way. So once I start moving in whatever direction, my hands just start to spontaneously move into a position. Here's a good example. One of them I can step back and go 1, 2, or I can step back and go 1, 2. I might step forward and go 1, 2, or I might step back and go 1, 2, or I might step forward and go 1, 2, or step back and go 1, 2. Okay? So try it, all 4. This is also kind of a mental flexibility drill, because if you're not used to actually deliberately stepping in certain directions, your body's not going to be used to it. And it's going to be challenging. It's going to be more challenging than doing the same movement over and over and over and over and over again, right? In the same direction, trying to burn it in. No, now you're taking symmetrical ideas. So once I do it on this side, I also do it on this side. Now if my left foot's in front, I'm going to call that my left side. So that way I can kind of categorize it in my mind and pay attention to it. If the right foot's in front, I call that my right side. So I'm stepping forward or I'm stepping back. Okay? I'm not stepping forward or stepping back. Not in this case. I'm stepping forward or I'm stepping back. There's other ways I can step forward and back too. I can go this way. I can go this way. Okay? I can also go this way. Of course, when I'm like that, we're probably going to end up like this after, maybe, depending on how we got into this position. Okay? But those of you who are catching on to this because these are the things that we study in class, take notes. Let me know if you see anything. The rest of you, play with these positions. Like I said, feel free to rewind, because these morning sessions here aren't necessarily guided practices. I try to get away from that. When I was a kid and I woke up and I saw all these awesome things on TV, it was always the same thing, which is great. It's good. It's also good to put aside time to practice one particular motion over and over and over and over again. But there's also a time where you need to study all of the possible motions in a particular sequence. So in this case, I'm studying these 4 positions. Well, technically, it's 2 positions if you really look at it. It's left neutral and right neutral. And I get there by stepping forward this way, stepping forward this way, stepping back this way, and stepping back this way. Okay. Later we can look at ideas like stepping forward but this way, or stepping forward but this way, or stepping back but this way. Okay. And if you go back in one of the videos within the past couple of weeks, we did step forward this way, and we stepped forward this way a couple of times. One time we did it here, one time we did it here, one time we did it here, for that one. Other times, we're stepping this way, and we're doing things. Or we're stepping this way again. Or maybe I'm stepping this way. Or I'm going this way, again for this one. So you can see how we're using those spots a lot, and each one's a little different. Okay. For the yoga students, this is just great because you have a good idea of where you can put your feet. So that's another important thing about this box is I know it's kind of like playing Twister. There's the red dot, right? And I'm going to go boom. I'm on the dot. I know where it is. My leg is used to it. Now I can do other stuff. So I'm gauging my steps. I'm not just blindly throwing my leg out there and then landing in a way that I'm not sure or not used to. I know how it feels to stand like this. So I put my foot there and I settle like that. Okay, so in the yoga, we know, at least in my classes, when we do that warrior sequence, we're rarely ever tight in the middle like this. See? And I do this on purpose just to exaggerate one reason why. We still always have a little space in between our feet. And it kind of relates to these corners here. So you'll notice, as I'm back, if I turn this way, now I'm facing that corner in what I call, or what we call the horse in yoga. This is one time you're kind of in the horse. Sometimes they put the legs out this way, right? In our martial arts, we do that too, don't we? You know that one? All right. But the idea is, rather than being so linear with my perception, which is good, I'm going to bring it out this way. So this is a circle. I mean, this is, I just gave it away. This is a square, but it's also a circle. Okay. So I can ride that circle when I step. So if we go back to what I said at the beginning of this, think of that circle as a clock. And then this square here are those points on the clock. So you could add the other points if you wanted. They would be here, 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 and here. Okay. Now you can get as precise as you want and go anywhere in between those numbers to see what you can do with your balance and with this position. And that's what I encourage my yoga students to do. Instead of being focused on just this and this, I want you to be focused on this. And this. But then eventually, I want you to be so focused on it that you do this also in between. Now it's hard to do on a conventional style yoga mat. Part of the reason why I don't use mats here anyways. Sometimes if I'm on a wood floor studio or even outdoors, I won't use mats either because I want your feet to be familiar with the ground and how we can naturally do these movements, because again, self-defense doesn't mean that it's against a person, it's against danger in general. And danger can be something that throws you off guard at any time and you slip or move in a way that you're not used to. Well, guess what? As you do that, you're so familiar with certain positions that you can recover from it with the natural drills that we're doing. So that's what I mean when I say develop a natural practice. You have to really think outside the box, no pun intended. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this today. Please feel free to share these videos even if you don't think you're going to try out 2 weeks free. I do encourage you to try it 2 weeks free though. It's all online, interactive. There's also a library of videos and content that you can go through, some quizzes as well to see what you can retain and what you can learn from the curriculum. Whether you're 2 or 200, give us a call. Go to karateforfree.com and I look forward to meeting you. Have yourself a great day. Stay safe out there, everybody.